Welcome to the Artful Exchange, the podcast where we dive into the fascinating world of design, creativity, and innovation. I'm your host, the poetic designer from Winter Design, and I am so excited to present our guest joining us today, Kiki Plesner-Löfroth from Plesner Patterns, a Norwegian biophilic textile and surface designer from Oslo. She is here today to share with us her journey, her insights, and the story behind her recent international recognition from the Red Dot Awards. Kiki won this prestigious award for her beautiful blanket, the Norwegian Heritage, which is based on traditional Norwegian craftsmanship. The Red Dot Award is one of the most prestigious design awards in the world, recognizing excellence in design and innovation. So winning this award acknowledges the hard work and dedication for each designer that participates. Now, what fascinates me about Kiki is her biophilic approach and dedication to finding patterns everywhere in the natural world. The fact that she is one of the few textile designers still working analog in our pacing digitalized world intrigues me even more. Welcome, Kiki, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's very exciting, and looking forward to talk to you.
It's a pleasure, and me too. Congratulations again on winning the Red Dot Award.
Thank you so much. It's a big honor.
Your work is known for its unique combination of handmade and digital processes, as well as the fact that you embrace the imperfect. Can you tell us more about your creative approach and the philosophy behind it?
Yeah, absolutely. My work is inspired by the concept wabi-sabi, the Japanese philosophy of finding beauty in the imperfection. And I like having that you can see the traces of the human touch in my patterns. So I like to work analog with moss and clay and watercolor, so that it's not that perfect and not that polished. I think that it gives the pattern extra layer of kind of soul, or it conveys something more than just the streamlined lines. So I work with various materials like clay and eggshell. My kids help me crush the eggshells, and then I take pictures of it and digitize it in the computer. And this gives me the opportunity to blend tactile qualities of handmade art with the precision of digital techniques. So that's nice way to work. So through my patterns, I like to invite the viewer to let their mind and eye wander off into the patterns, to give them a break from the everyday, kind of a small mindful moment. By giving yourself small pockets of time, to let your mind wander, the same as if you look out of the window from the bus, or when you take a walk in the woods, it kind of opens up for other thoughts to emerge, perhaps thoughts that can give you new perspectives. So I would like the viewer to kind of walk their way into the pattern and get lost, kind of snuggle their eyes into there and stay there for a little break.
I really love that, how you're calling it pockets in time and creating that break for us all in our everyday routine.
So that's so nice. And kind of patterns can work as portals of kind of letting your thoughts fly and bring you kind of closer to your inner wisdom. Just let your mind wander. And I really like as well that patterns are repetition and rhythm, and our brains like that. So it gives us a sense of calm, actually, to look at a pattern, because it's this repetition. And maybe that's as well why I like to work with patterns, to create order out of the chaos.
Right. Yeah.
So true. That's a fun part of it. And as well, this iconic textile designer, Joseph Frank, said that he has this he says that a monochromatic surface appears uneasy, while patterns are calming, and for the observer is unconsciously affected by an underlying slow approach. And the richness of decoration cannot be fathomed so quickly, in contrast to the monochromatic surface, which one grasps immediately and therefore no longer is of interest. And yeah, so I find this his quote so true and so interesting that, like, if you look at this one-colored wall, you're finished with it in 2 seconds. But if you look at a pattern or a wallpaper textile, you can kind of find your way through new details. You're kind of stuck in the details and in the pattern, and that's it's so nice.
And it truly is so important. And since we're talking about this, maybe you could walk us through the process of creating a textile pattern from start to finish, the way you work.
Yeah, of course. Many of my patterns represent traces of life. I mean, there's so many patterns around us in our lives as well. It could be like the leaves on the ground, or the bubbles in the sourdough, or the spots on the banana. It's so much to dive into. And one of my patterns, the play clay pattern, came about when I cleaned the Play-Doh leftovers from my children when they had been doing this clay work. And all those dried out crumbles, I wanted to just throw them in the bin. And then I suddenly saw that, this could be a nice pattern. And I arranged them on the table and photographed these pieces, small pieces, and continued to work on them on the computer, rearranging them a bit and making it like a repetitive pattern. And then I got it printed on textile. And it's so nice that, like, this seemingly unimportant moment suddenly became a pattern representing their whole childhood. And now when they're older and they don't even play with those kind of things anymore, it's even nicer to have this kind of remembrance and
memory, not least. It's beautiful.
And as well, when I did a design for Borås cotton, and I also found these small plants in the ditch of the road, and it seemed like an uninteresting plant, brown and dried out. And when I took them apart, I saw these beautiful small leaves that it consisted of, and that made this thin, lovely curtain fabric called Singlande Blad. And I like this, to freeze those kind of seemingly unimportant moments.
I love that.
So the kind of uninteresting becomes beautiful. That's and the star moss pattern came about when I was walking in the woods looking for mushrooms, actually. And I just put down the basket on the ground in the woods, and then suddenly I saw this beautiful star moss pattern under the basket, and I photographed it. And later I worked on it on the computer, and it became this star moss pattern. So then others can kind of get this nature feeling when they're seeing that pattern, maybe.
So true. And you clearly have an eye for details. And I love your star moss pattern because I've actually seen it. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Could you maybe elaborate more on your custom-made designs and how you prefer to do collaborations with others?
No, I really like that. And I like to do like custom-made textiles or wallpapers for restaurants, hotels, often it's through the interior designers and can reflect a concept or an identity. Or I did this art curtain that was a room divider in a canteen, and then I got based on a briefing, so I designed the different stages of life and the natural organic shapes, and then I work closely together with the Norwegian weaving mills and get this produced as upholstery fabric, or in this case it was a curtain fabric. And it could also be like wallpapers or tiles. I mean, it's there's so many surfaces to use, and I really like to work and to get input on a brief, and then I create a design out of that. Is really fun as well. And I did also this for Stokke, those baby chairs. I did prints for the cushions on the baby chairs, and that was also a very fun project where, based on input from them, and I create.
Right, and Stokke is a Norwegian furniture design company.
Yeah, they have kids' chairs.
Do you have any upcoming collaborations you might want to mention to us?
Yeah, I'm working on with a Norwegian carpet brand on some carpets, so that's very fun, and that's probably in a year or so that we'll see that.
Lovely.
And also working together with a Norwegian tile brand on some tile design. So that's it's a lot of fun. So I love doing collaborations. Actually, I think it's much fun, and then I'm just doing the design and don't need to handle all the other stuff.
No, for sure. But when you do your custom made designs, is that together with the client, or do you get to work freely and choose as well?
Oh yeah, that's both actually, and then of course I also work closely with the production side. So then it's often it's together with interior architects on the project, and I work closely with them, and maybe they have some kind of concept that, and I work freely around that to express something that enhances the overall concept, and of course the color palette and. Really much like that. It's really fun.
Lovely. Mm-hmm. Well, there is no denying that design, art, and well-being truly go hand in hand, and it is so important. I know that you are very much interested in doing more work with your designs in hospitals.
Yeah, that will also be so meaningful to those surroundings where these people have their everyday. It would be especially meaningful to enhance like their well-being through nature-based design. So a lot of my patterns are inspired by nature. So it would be really meaningful to lift their environments a bit with textile or wallpapers.
Absolutely. And I suppose we could call this your biophilic approach and philosophy. No?
Yeah, that's true. I'm really intrigued by that approach, and it's the word is so strange, but biophilic, but it's very easy. It just means like our people's inherited need to connect to nature, and since we're so much indoor, it's important to get that stimulation inside as well. So to be able to like use textiles and wallpapers inspired with natural patterns is very meaningful. And the interesting part is that they even say that it doesn't have to be living plants. It can be pictures of plants, or it can be patterns. And it still can give you actually a quite stress-reducing effect. And in offices, it can actually make the people more productive. So it has so many levels to surround yourself with more nature-based elements.
Truly. And your work does encapsulate a beautiful blend of the old and new. Now, winning the Red Dot Award was a significant achievement. Maybe you could share with us about how that felt for you and what the award means to you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. No, it was a really honor. Fantastic. So it's over 40 countries worldwide who participating, and I'm especially proud to be a woman getting the award, because when I was at award night in Germany before summer, it was actually quite a lot of men in suits and some women, of course, but
extra special.
Yeah, and it's also fun to see that a lot of the products that won prize are like hard products, like chairs, cars, robots, and drones, and it's fun to see that like my wool soft throw actually got the prize. And I think it shows that we need more tactile products that are good to hold, and especially in our digital world as well.
The Heritage blanket that you won the award with, how is that made and where is it produced?
Yeah, it's I really like to produce as local as possible. So my products are woven in Norway if possible. So this one is woven at Grindaker Vev at Hadeland, and the design is it's an it honors the cultural heritage of Norway, like the old wood carvings and the rosemaling, as we call it, like the old paintings of roses that are really like lush, colorful. We surrounded ourselves with so much more of those kind of elements in the earlier days, and I wanted to bring that into our time. So I had an old wood carved clock in my grandmother's cottage, and all these old shapes. My daughter actually drew them with her left arm, and then I rearranged all these shapes, and I created this pattern. And I wanted to use different weaving structures, like older, like herringbone and waffle weave, to kind of give the impression of looking backward, but also a window into the future in the way these were put together. And I wanted to have more of everything to this area of time where we had all these lush colors and everything. So the throw consists of a lot of colors and different structures. So it's really nice to touch and feel as well. So it's actually nice for people who don't see that well. They can have good use of it.
Tactile.
Yeah. So it's a really big quality seal to get this price, and it's a door opener for me, at least to try to get it into shops in abroad of Norway. So I just got them in. Now I'm selling it in Cologne and in Essen in Germany as well. So that's fun. So that's thanks to the Red Dot, I would believe.
Well, congratulations once again for that.
Thank you so much.
Your journey and approach are truly inspiring. And I think that before we wrap up, I would love it if you could give some advice to, up and aspiring designers who want to incorporate maybe handmade touches into their digital work, or also other things.
Yeah, I think, experiment with new techniques and materials, and leave space to work without thinking it has to have an outcome, just time to experiment. Use your hands, put away the computer for a while, and turn off Instagram for a while.
Yeah.
So find the designs from inside. And I still struggle to put enough time to just experiment and do designs in between all the admin work. So I think it's important to have just time to test and do new stuff.
Thank you so much, Kiki, for sharing your insights and stories with us today. It's been such a pleasure to learn about your work and your creative process, none the least. And I especially look forward to seeing more of your beautiful designs in the near future.
Oh, thank you so much. And it was a real pleasure to talk to you, and an honor to be a guest at your podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And also thank you to our listeners for tuning into the Artful Exchange. Now, if you want to get in touch with Kiki and learn more about Plesner Patterns, please have a look in the description post of this specific podcast, where we will be sharing her social links and website. And until then, stay creative and inspired.